Welcome back to the last item in this tutorial, and I will encourage you to stop this video if this problem looks too complicated. If you have not had algebra, this can be a little bit intimidating. So if you feel like it is more than you want to do, stop the video for now. That is okay. That's why I put this one on a video by itself. For those of you who have had algebra, this should be review. It still is not easy, but it should be a little more familiar than it would be to someone who has never had algebra. But if you want to watch the video, let's see what we can do. I'll make it as simple as I can. Okay, the first thing is the direction set that we need to look at, and it says to simplify the polynomial expression. So before I even get to this part, I'm even going to pull that down a ways. I want to focus on the directions, what they're saying to me in the directions. So there are three main parts here: polynomial, and then the word expression itself. Let's break that down. Simplify. That is to make easier or shorter or simpler. I'm going to say to make simpler. And in this case, we're going to make it shorter. That's how we make it simpler. Polynomial. Poly means many. So anywhere you see poly, it means many. And nomial means name, usually. So in this situation, we have many names, many pieces of this expression. And an expression is a math statement with no equal sign. So it can't be solved. There's no equal sign. The only thing you can do is to simplify an expression. And sometimes that's easier said than done. Simplifying an expression is just as hard as solving an equation, because it's requires us sort of the same skills, but in some situations different skills. So don't underestimate that. Just because we're not solving anything doesn't mean this is easy to do. So we're going to simplify the polynomial expression. We are going to make this math statement simpler, as simple as we can. Okay, so let's look at the expression itself. I'm not going to read all this because it would take me all day. I do want to ask you, though, to think about what is different in this expression. As you look down that line, what looks odd? And you may be thinking it all looks odd, and it does. But what's different? What is the piece that doesn't look like the others? And hopefully you're going to notice that it's right here. Okay. This is the piece that looks a little different, because all of the other things are adding or subtracting. But remember, when you have two terms like this pressed together, that is multiplying. So this multiplying term needs to be simplified. And that's what I'm going to do first. So let's focus just right here. And recall that this means times. 4x times 2x. And you notice that I also took the sign that goes with the 4. So what this is saying is positive 4 times positive 2. So 4 times 2, that's going to be 8. And then x times x is x to the second power. Okay. 4 times 2 is 8, and x times x is x to the second power. So we have simplified that part down. So already we're getting there. We're simplifying. We can even take out this part. If that bothers you to keep looking at that, just get rid of it, because you have what you need right here. We have simplified that down to 8x to the second. And that's a positive 8, so we're going to keep that positive sign. We'll need that in just a minute. So that's the first step, is to get any multiplying or dividing out of the way. To simplify it on down, you need to come down here, and I just want you to write this with me. First degree, second degree. Let me give myself a little more space. I don't want to crunch all this up together. So second degree, and then third degree. And hang with me here. I know this may not make much sense, but hopefully it will in just a second. So first degree, second degree, and third degree. Okay, I'm going to zoom in again to this first term, and I'm going to cover everything else up but that. This is pronounced 3x squared. And here's the key. That tells me the degree. So 3x to the second is a second degree term. So we're going to bring that 3x to the second right down here. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to highlight all of the second degrees in blue. So there's a second degree term. Moving down the line. Plus 6x. Well, that's only 1x. So that is a first degree term. You don't have to write the plus sign. Remember, if you don't see a sign, it's a plus anyway. So I'm just going to leave that off. The 9x to the second, that is a second degree term. So we're going to say plus 9x to the second. And then we have a minus 7x. That's a 1x, a single x. So that's going to sit in first degree. And be careful, because all of a sudden, look at this one. What degree is that one going to be? Well, it's not first and it's not second. It is third. So the plus 10x, I don't need to write the plus. This is 10x to the third power. Coming on down the line, there are a lot of terms in this problem. There's a minus 16 to the second power. So put that on your second degree row. And then finally, this little fella that we simplified is a plus 8x to the second power. So it's also going to go on the second degree row. So this process that I have done here is called, at least we've started, combining like terms. We're putting all of the first degrees together and all of the second degrees, and we just had that only one third degree. So combining like terms. That's what this is called. Okay, we've got them organized, but we still haven't combined them. So let's go ahead. I'm going to draw a line here so we can do the totals. And on my calculator, and I would recommend using a calculator just to keep this straight, we're going to type 6 minus 7. Your calculator doesn't do x's. So 6 minus 7 equals -1. And you want to keep the x attached over there because these are first degrees. So -1x. Okay, on this next row, we need to do 3 plus 9 minus 16 plus 8. Just type that in. All clear. 3 plus 9, subtract 16, add 8 equals, and you get 4. And remember, those are x2s, x squareds. And then this one, there's nothing to add or subtract. You just bring your term over. That's the total you have there. And we're almost done. The last thing that we need to do is put them in the proper order. Actually, there's one more thing I see after this. So the proper order for an algebra problem, you take the highest degree first. So 10x to the third. That's a positive 4x to the second. And a minus 1x. So there's the proper order. And then there's one more thing that they will have you to do on the test. You see that 1 doesn't need to be there. If it's just a 1, they'll leave it off. So your final answer will be 10x to the third plus 4x to the second minus x. And that is as simple as we can make this problem. We cannot combine degrees. We can't mix the 3's and the 2's. You can only put terms of like degree together. So the answer that you're wanting is in this box. But when you compare that to the original, this is simplified. It is shorter, it's easier to read, and it would be easier to work with if we had to go any further. So this is called a simplified expression. It still doesn't have an equal sign, but it's as simple as I can make it be. There is actually another step that we could do called factoring, but I'm not going to go that far. It's simplified. It would go further, but I don't want to go too far. This is far enough. Okay, we are to the end of the calculator tutorial. I hope that you have enjoyed learning about your calculator and learning some math skills. I do want to remind you that you cannot use your calculator, your tutorial cheat sheet on the test. So you can't bring these notes with you to the test. You have to be able to do these without your notes for an exam. But to help you learn how to do it, I wanted to go through some examples. We've covered quite a few things here. If you go all the way back to this beginning page, we've covered a lot of ground. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I will always help you if I can, and we can look at the calculator if we need to. If you're taking other courses with me, you're going to need these skills. So the calculator tutorial is good for anyone who wants to do classes with me here. Okay, I hope you have a very good day, and I hope to see you in another class sometime. Bye-bye.